Christ has ascended. Today, on Thursday, June 1st, we commemorate St. Justin, the philosopher and martyr, as well as his companions, and St. Pyrros the Hieromartyr. Regarding St. Justin, the philosopher and martyr, and his companions, often colloquially referred to as Justin Martyr, this saint, who was from Neapolis of Palestine, was a follower of Plato the philosopher. Born in 103, he came to the faith of Christ when he was already a mature man, seeking to find God through philosophy and human reasoning. A venerable elder appeared to him and spoke to him about the prophets, who had taught of God not through their own wisdom, but by revelation. And he led him to knowledge of Christ, who is the fulfillment of what the prophets taught. St. Justin soon became a fervent follower of Christ and an illustrious apologist of evangelical teachings. An apologist is not someone that apologizes saying, "I'm sorry for it," but somebody that explains it to other people. So he became a master of the rhetoric of explaining Christianity to those who did not understand Christianity. To the end of his life, while preaching Christ in all parts, he never put off his philosopher's garb. In Rome, he gave the Emperor Antonius Pius an apology where he proved the innocence and holiness of the Christian faith, persuading him to relieve the persecution of Christians. This famous article that he wrote, which is a 2nd century document, is telling what happens in the liturgy. So from that, we can see the liturgy as we celebrate today, the skeletal structure of it in its entirety, which is amazing. And the reason why this was important was because, as you hear in the liturgy, the doors, and wisdom must be attentive, that was basically a symbol that anyone that was not a Christian was asked to leave. And so the doors would be shut. And so from that moment in the liturgy, only those who were prepared to receive the Christians would be left inside. Now, people start to hear, well, what are they doing? Oh, they're eating something. What are they eating? They're eating the body and blood of somebody. Oh my goodness, the Christians are cannibals. And so Justin Martyr made this apology. He wrote this famous letter, this treatise, explaining the liturgy so people understand we're not cannibals. We're not doing human sacrifice with these closed doors. This is exactly how the liturgy proceeds. Through the machinations of Crescens, a cynic philosopher who envied him, St. Justin was beheaded in Rome in 167 under Antonius' successor, Marcus Aurelius. Besides his defense of Christianity, St. Justin wrote against paganism, Horatia addresses to the Greeks and discourse to the Greeks, and he refuted the Jewish objections against Christ, the dialogue with Trypho. Thou didst empty the cup of the wisdom of the Greeks, and thou didst thirst yet again, till thou camest unto the well, where thou foundest water springing to eternal life. And having drunk deeply thereof, thou didst also drink the cup that Christ gave to his disciples. Wherefore, O Justin, we praise thee as a philosopher and martyr of Christ. The readings are according to the week. From Acts of the Apostles. In those days Agrippa, the king of Bernice, arrived at Caesarea to welcome Festus. And as they stayed there many days, Festus laid Paul's case before the king, saying, There is a man left prisoner by Felix. When I was at Jerusalem, the chief priests and the elders of the Jews gave information about him, asking for sentence against him. I answered them that it was not the custom of the Romans to give up anyone before the accused met the accusers face to face, and had opportunity to make his defense concerning the charge laid against him. When therefore they came together, I made no delay, but on the next day took my seat on the tribunal and ordered the man to be brought in. When the accusers stood up, they brought no charge in this case of such evils as I supposed, but they had certain points of dispute with him about their own superstition and about one Jesus, who was dead, but whom Paul asserted to be alive. So this is from the perspective of the Roman authorities, and why the Jews were not able to kill St. Paul. And St. Paul is going to use this in order to further his teachings so that they will not immediately kill him. From the Gospel according to St. John. The Lord said to his disciples, Truly, truly, I say to you, if you ask anything of the Father, he will give it to you in my name. Hitherto you have asked nothing in my name, and you will receive. Ask, that your joy may be full. I have said this to you in figures. The hour is coming when I shall no longer speak to you in figures, but tell you plainly of the Father. In that day you will ask in my name, and I do not say to you that I shall pray to the Father for you. The Father himself loves you, because you have loved me, and have believed that I came from the Father. I came from the Father and have come into the world. Again, I am leaving the world and going to the Father's. and going to the Father. His disciples said, "Ah, now you are speaking plainly, not in any figure. Now we know that you know all things, and need none to question you. By this we believe that you came from God." Jesus answered them, "Do you now believe? The hour is coming, indeed it has come, when you will be scattered every man to his home, and will leave me alone. Yet I am not alone, for the Father is with me. I have said this to you, that in me you may have peace." I hope that you've enjoyed today's spiritual calisthenics. Have a blessed and wonderful day.